think is like our audience? Like, who do you think is drawn to, two washed out comics from Maine?
Washed out?
Is it washed out or
That's
washed
to be
up?
like
Washed
clean.
up.
Washed up means...
English isn't my first language.
I like washed out, though. It's like you were dirty and now you're washed out. You were filled with nasty chunks and now you're a nice, clean boy. I think our audience is... the people that watch the podcast or listen to it are our direct friends right now.
Yeah, for sure.
If you are not friends with Mo or I, and you're listening to or watching this podcast, please leave a comment. And guess what? You're going to become our friend.
Yeah, we're going to absorb you in the friend group.
Yeah, you're going to get into that group.
One of us.
It's a tight.
One of us. Dude, we should jump people in like a gang.
I would love to beat people up to make them my friend.
That's how it works, dude. Shout out Abdurrahman. I see you, man. It's
Shout out.
I appreciate the support, cuz. Yeah, it is just our friends. Very supportive group, but I think we do have one or two fans. Like on Instagram, there are a few random people that we've met.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a good point.
They don't really talk to us, but they follow us.
That's cool, and I like that that's how you build up a show. You got to be interesting enough for people who don't know you to want to check it out.
That's the thing about being interesting, dude. I've been doing stand-up for a while. You've been doing it way longer than me. When I started, I remember meeting you, Tim Duffy, the whole like crew at Empire.
Yes, the main gang.
And I started out doing the open mics every Monday with shout out Joe DeShane. And my biggest fear going on stage, and I think it's always just stuck with me, is like, am I interesting? Am I funny? I always get back to that, and I have like some self-conscious issues there because I'm just like, I don't think I'm interesting half the time. I hear myself speak, and I'm just like, the funniest thing you ever told me was, it was a little racist though. You were like, Mo, I feel like you're a black and mild. I think that's what you said.
If I said that, I don't believe I said that.
No, you did at Empire. You looked at me once and you were like, Mo, you're a black and mild. And I was like, that's a funny joke. I was like, that's good because I am black and a little mild, dude. But I was like,
I don't remember saying that. I wish I did because I guess it's pretty funny, but
Maybe I just fever dreamed it. But do you ever feel that way? Like you're just like, am I even interesting or funny?
I mean, as a comedian, that's all you think. That's just what you want to know. I think you can't really be thinking about that on stage because if you're doing that, you're not in the moment.
I'm not thinking when I'm on stage.
You have to be up there thinking about just what you're talking about, not about, is this interesting? Because if you're there, then you're not giving your all in the performance. That's why it's valuable to tape your set.
Yeah.
Either record it on your phone or do a video or whatever. I mean, I mostly do just audio. I don't usually set up a camera. Though now that I have this camera that this video is being filmed on, I'm going to start filming more.
That's an expensive camera to bring to comedy shows.
It's cheaper than my phone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's only like a $500 camera.
Oh. You're right, dude. It is crazy. People walk around like my phone when I first bought it was like $900. And you just walk around with something like that.
Yeah, it's the most expensive thing anyone has on themselves at any moment, other than like a wedding ring.
Yeah, wedding rings are crazy too. Like, who has the balls to, what is the average cost of a wedding ring?
Insured? I don't know. I don't even know. It's not. I just and it's obviously you can break your phone. You can smash your camera. It's
like I did, dude. I was taking a shit and like I dropped my phone on like there's some.
Your
like,
shit is really, that hard?
It is.
It broke the phone.
Yeah, I was shitting bricks, bro. And if it fell out of my hand and hit the ground, and I've never had like a phone crack before. Cracked on the side.
And because you don't do case.
I'm caseless now. Yeah, I used to do case. Then my case broke.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I kind of like raw dogging my phone.
It's fun. Dude, I never used a case for a decade. Never used one, never broke a phone. And then finally I dropped a phone, no case, on the pavement, and it cracked, just a little crack in the corner, and like had a little spider web shatter. Not too bad. Like you really couldn't see it when it was straight on, but if you were at an angle, you could start to see it. And that's when I was like, all right, I can't be the caseless freak anymore. I have to start wearing, putting a case on like a big boy, because I'll probably drop my phone. But now you get to go fast and loose with a phone that has a case on it. You just throw that thing around. No one cares.
Dude, I had an OtterBox and I would throw that bitch everywhere and no problem. But like, I think the button on the OtterBox broke and I just threw the whole case out. And I'm probably going to get a case now after I get it fixed, because I can't be having that. Dude, it saved my ass because I insured the phone. I didn't realize I insured it, and I was paying like $8 a month to have insurance.
Nice.
And it came in clutch. Saved me like $800 to get a new phone.
Good for you, man.
So
stick it to really him, man. Good. Stick it to the man.
Hey, you got to take the little wins in life, because if you don't have the little wins in life, where are the big wins going to come from?
Where are they going to come from?
Where are they going to come from?
Where could you get like a cheap water bill? Is that going to be your big win?
Did you get a discount today on something? Huh?
Yeah. Did you? Did you?
Are you finding your deals?
Did you get a free sandwich?
Oh, I'm sure they got a free sandwich.
Did you get a buy 12 get 1 free sandwich from Jersey Mike's?
With the little punch card? You get a little punch card, dude? Were you on your 12th sandwich?
Did you do it?
Did you get your shit today, man? What else can we talk about?
Well, I did say it, Jersey Mike's.
I had some Jersey Mike's this weekend.
Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Can we talk about Jersey Mike's?
Why,
Can we get into it?
Why are you interrogating me at Jersey Mike?
We brought it up, but it's been coming up in conversation a lot in my work life. I have a coworker used to rant and rave about Jersey Mike's, and then I heard about the juice.
I heard the Jews. The fuck?
The juice.
The juice.
Not to be confused with the Jews, but the juice. It's Mike's. You get your sandwich done Mike's way, and you use part of that is the juice they put on, which
Something
is like
about Mike's way makes me uncomfortable.
I think this is like the hack joke with Jersey Mike's is the juice, the Mike's way. You get it, juice, sexual innuendo, whatever. The point I'm making is, yeah, it's just, I think it's red wine vinegar and olive oil is the juice. I think that's what they put on your sub if you ask for it. It's good. And so my buddy at work is like, we got to go to Jersey Mike's. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'm not a huge like go out for subs guy unless it's like a hot sub. But I'm like, all right, well, he's ranting and raving, so I got to try this Jersey Mike's sandwich. So I go, and you know what? Tried it. Really good. Jersey Mike's. They slice it right there for you. Do you see that? You see, there's a guy. I love when they slice the meat right there for you. You know why? Because you might see a guy cut his finger off in front of you and just bleed on your meat. And who doesn't want to see that for $9.97?
Wait, he raw dogged that? He didn't have like a little sleeve. He didn't have a little cut glove.
Was he King Arthur with the chainmail on? No, he's a guy. He's a guy with the big thick glasses. I'm sure he doesn't care if he loses a finger.
Yeah,
he's a fun guy.
I'm sure Jersey Mike's has great health insurance. They have the best health insurance.
You know what? The people there seem happy. I mean, everyone in line, everyone behind the counter, they're smiling, having a good time. I'm like, oh, they're like, it's great food. They don't seem like they're lying. They're happy to be there.
I had a Philly cheesesteak from them.
Yeah.
Last weekend, I had the Big Kahuna. Actually.
Yeah. What did it do to you?
The shits for sure.
You got the shizzies?
I got the shizzies.
They gave you the shizzies?
I got the shizzies.
That's no bueno.
Courtney got a veggie sub.
I think she got the shizzies too.
No, not to my knowledge. We're not there yet. Not there yet. Thank God. I definitely got the shizzies though, but I think I don't know, man. What doesn't give you the shizzies nowadays?
Paper.
Fiber. I've never had the Mike's juice though, because I've never. I would be damned if I'll ever get like a cold cut sandwich from a place.
You know what though? I agree. So that's why I had to try it, because everyone was going nuts over this Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
And that's why I tried it, and it was good. It was really good. Best best.
What'd you get? What was it?
It's like the classic Italian,
Oh,
which, you know,
can't do the
it
pork.
was pretty good. Yeah, you can't do that.
Can't do the pork.
Well, that's like a pork
that's your
festival.
experience.
That's my experience.
Yeah.
But so I go in there again, and it might be they're on suspension now because I went like five. I went like 5 times.
Time out.
They're on timeout right now. Jersey Mike's, you guys are on timeout right now. Okay, they're timed out. You know why? Okay, because I go in there, and they got all people working there that I have never seen before. All right.
Can't have new faces.
I'm not going to say, what they looked like. I will say they definitely did know English. Okay? Not going to go into details, but these people did not know English, which, you know what? That's fine. I don't care about that stuff. However,
sounds like you care.
In this situation, I do. This is the exact
sounds like you care a lot.
This is the situation where it matters, Mo. Because when I'm saying what I want on my sandwich, you got to know those words. Those are the words. That is the vocabulary that you need to know at a sub sandwich place. If they're putting you in charge of building those subs and you're asking people what they want on that sub, you got to know what those 8 or 9 words are.
Why don't you just learn French? Why can't you just learn French?
Because you know what? If they said, "Hey, come to Jersey Mike's where you gotta know French to order a sub," I'd be like, "Well, shit, I don't know French. Then I guess I gotta learn."
What's the name? New Jersey's known for
their French.
They're French.
I'm pretty sure they're known for their Italian. Okay.
I think they're known for their French and their gravy. Dude.
No, but this
so
lady.
Walk me through it.
This I got like she's like. Like, what are you doing this sandwich? I'm just like, what? She's like, I'm like, okay, well, can I get the lettuce and just some salt? And she's like, I'm like, yes, salt. Like at first I was like, is she doing a bit? What is going on with this lady? And then I was like, oh, this lady like doesn't know the 5 words that you need to know working this exact job. Like this is bad. I don't know why they put this lady in this position. This is terrible. This is bad for her, bad for the business. Like she doesn't like this. Do you think she's loving life? Do you think I'd love to be working at you think I'd love to be in a foreign land, okay? Working a job where I need to know words that I don't know and they just throw me out there to do that? No, that's bad hiring.
Dude, I just wonder, were you her first customer?
No.
I'm just wondering how she went. That must have been brutal. That must have been a brutal ass day.
It must be insane. And my okay, I'm not I gotta stay on track with this story. So I get everything on there. I'm telling this like she's like, she's like this. I'm like, yeah, that mayo mayonnaise. She's like, huh? What? I'm like mayonnaise. And then like she's like finally gets it, puts it on there. I'm like, all right, good, it's done. And then she takes my sub. She puts the paper on it. This lady rolls my sub up like she's making a tight burrito. She makes a tight burrito out of my sub, dude. Who's baking that beautiful sweet Jersey Mike bread, okay? And it's getting just pummeled by this lady. She's just squeezing.
I still see nothing wrong with this.
She's squeezing the juice out. Oh, I got the juice. It's getting squeezed out of my sub. Okay, and then I'm like, no, this isn't gonna be good, you know. And then they're like, what number did you get? And I go 13. Lady draws a 7-3, and I'm like, no, 13. She's like, she crosses it out, and she's like, 7, same. And I'm realizing, okay, she writes a 1 like a 7. That's what's happening right now. I was like, okay. She knows what I want. Like, there is no number 73. All right. This lady just doesn't know. She just doesn't know. It's not her fault. It's just they should put her in a bad spot. Did she put the little slash on the 7? No, not in it.
Oh, okay. That's how you know it's not a 7. It's
right.
a 1.
Some places will do the slash.
Yeah.
And so then I go to check out. I'm so like jaw dropped that this all has just happened. I feel like I have been wronged in the subline because I've had so many good experiences at Jersey Mike's. I've had so many good ones. The guy even convinced me that I should sign up for the Mike's Club or whatever. The
I
Beach
gotta
Club.
ask, are you like rehearsing for how you're gonna call the management of that place? Like you're just like, I'm getting ready and hyped up for this call.
I can't wait. We should call him.
I was a very loyal
Yeah.
Jersey Mike's customer for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I had 4 subs.
I had 4 subs.
They were so good.
They were all very, very good.
And then she rolls up my sandwich like a joint.
Yeah, so tight.
Like a joint.
Why would you roll a beautiful sub? They bake that bread. There's someone baking the bread. They make it all soft. This lady squeezed all the air out of it.
It's not my fault I learned the wrong Latin romantic language as a kid, okay? I just learned the wrong one.
She squeezed the bread so hard, she took all the air out of it. She took its breath away. She took that little sub's breath away.
So, I'm sorry, continue.
So, I go to check out the guy who's ringing people up who like, he's like, what did you get? It says it on there. I tell him again what I got. He rings me up. I was so flustered, okay? And this is an error on my part. He didn't ask for my Mike's code or whatever so I could put in to get my points to my free sub.
Now I'm angry.
And then I was like, I walk out, I'm like,
Mike's.
I didn't get my Mike's. I didn't get my points. And I can't go back in there. It's like 12 subs you need to get 1 free.
You know what's funny is I just know you went through all of this and didn't say a peep.
I said no peeps. But when I got in my coworker's car, I was peeping. Okay, I'm peeping up. We're peeping. He's talking too. He's peeping away.
Wait, did he get his sandwich right? Was he just going through in perfect French like...
No. His was messed up too. And so this is the craziest part about all this. And when we're driving, I'm like, I think a little suspension is in order for me for Mike's. I think they got timeout. Timeout Jersey Mike's. Timeout Jersey Mike's. Okay, we're taking a timeout.
I think I saw the thumbnail.
You lost my business for a couple of weeks until I get bored or I get uninspired. I'm like, I guess
Or you
I'll get
forget.
one of those subs.
Dude, have you ever been burned by a restaurant and then you just like forget
Yeah.
and then you go?
Yeah.
This is going to happen. You're just
Yeah.
going to forget.
So guess what? Next day, coworker goes to Jersey Mike's. Same lady screws it all up again. Still screwing it up. Still doesn't know how to make. So yeah, still on suspension. I mean, I don't know how long it takes a person who's English is a second language to learn those main words you need to know how to make a Jersey Mike's sub. But however long that's going to take, that's as long as I'm probably going to be before I can go back in there.
Dude, I got to say, I wonder how many sandwiches it takes. Like they make their own lunch at that point, right? Like, I wonder, like, does she like her sandwiches that way? She's just like some tight.
She's not like I'm tight. I want to bite through it like I'm biting through an overcooked piece of meat.
So the sandwich was a no-go. You had it.
It
you're
still
like,
tasted good, but the texture wasn't right. You need that. You want that soft bread. You want the meats in there, and it's all. But this was like it was too hard. All the juices were leaking out. It was and then they don't cut all the way through. And you gotta like rip it, and that's a disaster.
I don't like the ripping. I think who's been consistent for so many years. I love them is Heidi's Brooklyn Deli. Have you been there yet in South Portland?
I think you repped them on the last.
I always will rep them, man, till the day I die.
Till the day.
I love them. But no, dude, that sucks. Especially when you like. Those are affordable sandwiches too. They're not expensive, right? Like Jersey Mike's sandwich, what?
You get a regular with tax or whatever. You're looking
like
at
less than
10 or 11 bucks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In this economy? In this economy?
Yeah.
You remember you could go out and you could genuinely get a meal for $5 back in the day?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, you can still go to Hannaford and get some food off the hot bar for $5.
Really?
Sure.
Dude, it was fucking. When I used to work there, it was tough to get anything for $5. But
Really?
I just remember like I don't know. Maybe you can. Who knows? You know what's crazy is when I worked at Hannaford, I worked a lot with people who you were using food stamps, right? And TANF, and these are great social programs. And
yes,
shout out federal government.
Out food stamps.
Yeah, dude, TANF is one of you could research this. It is one of the most successful programs out there. But all of the cashiers I remember were always just like little bitches because they didn't like the process of like processing a TANF order, because TANF was like the like literally like food stamps now are on cards, so you just swipe, right? But
What?
TANF was still paper. It was like a
paper,
check.
and you had to like write a little essay, be like,
No, it like would list like they get 3 milks, 4 juices, but the
oh
juices
my
can't
god,
be in
oh
in
my, I would be
bottles.
so mad too.
It was ridiculous.
That is absurd. I would be, and then there's people in line.
Oh yeah,
giving
yeah.
you the mean eyes.
But the thing was, like, they would all get mad, not at like the system that makes it more difficult to process this, but at like the poor person who's like, to qualify for TANF, you have to have kids. I think it's a program dedicated for like moms, like with kids. So it's like I remember people would get so mad, and I was on TANF as a kid, so I was like, these bitches, like I'm gonna take my time processing this. You can go to another line, like fuck you.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, they had so many rules. Like you had to get juice concentrate. You couldn't get juice in a bottle.
Oh, what
certain juices you can't get.
Yeah.
Certain cheeses you can't get. And it's like I'm like, all this shit is unhealthy. Cheese, bread, and juice is generally unhealthy for kids. Like why are we dictating what?
That's insanity, man.
But I always remembered like just those customer service roles. Like they were always also with EDB, people with ETB, the government, which is food stamps, the government says that, oh, you can buy junk food with it, right? You can buy like chips, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't buy like a warm food. You can't buy like a warm sandwich.
Yeah, because it's prepared.
Yeah,
yes.
but you know what you
I
can
worked
buy?
in grocery stores.
But
Yeah,
you remember, you know what you can buy?
Yeah,
you can buy
what?
the cold sandwich.
Sure.
You can buy you can't buy the hot rotisserie chicken, but you can buy the cold rotisserie chicken.
Insanity, dude. The rules that exist
So
for
insane.
things are insane. This is I used to work at a customer service booth at Whole Foods, and we would get these people that would come in and they would buy Smiling Hill Farms milks that had the $1 deposit. And what they would do is they would buy the milks, they would dump all the milk out in the parking lot, come back in with the jars, and get their cash back from buying the milk dumpers, just so they could get
You name them the milk dumpers.
Dude, milk dumpers, man. Yeah,
also, I remember the
dumper.
deposits were like, they were big. The bigger bottles, I think, was like $3.50. Like you get $3.50 for the big bottles.
And I was so naive. One guy, I remember, he came in, we had like a 5-gallon jug of water you could buy that had a $5 deposit. I remember he buys it, leaves, comes back 2 minutes later. He's like, yeah, I just filled my cooler with it. I'm just gonna get the deposit while I'm still here. He just definitely dumped that out right in the parking lot, and then just got his $5 so he could go buy cigarettes or whatever.
I will say those Smiling Hill Farm milks, them's really good.
Shout out Smiling Hill Farm milks. Also their ice cream. I don't know if you ever had their ice cream.
Oh, no, I have to. You know what isn't good is their eggnog. Their eggnog was awful.
Maybe I remember you just had a bad batch.
I always prayed like their eggnog would be good. Like,
which way would you face when you prayed for the eggnog?
I always pray towards the Kaaba.
Okay, good. Yeah, just making sure. I want to make sure it's the right spot.
Yeah. It's about east here, you know.
Word.
But no, their eggnog was, you know, it has good at Oakhurst. Shout out Oakhurst.
Vanilla shout out all the local dairies. We need a dairy sponsorship. My kid needs to drink that milk.
Yeah, they do. Your kid drinks like formula still, or they drinking milk?
Whole milks. Gotta have the whole milks. Milk dumpers. They're gonna have their way, man.
Yeah. What other nicknames did you have for customers? Because milk dumpers are I don't know.
Okay, we had the bomb shelter people. We used to call them. I think it was just like the bomb shelter couple or whatever, or the prepper doomsday prepper couple. They would come in like once every other week or so at like 9:30 at night, and they would shop for like 45 minutes past when the store was closed. They'd shop the store would be closed for like 15-20 minutes before they were done shopping, and then they would have like 2 whole grocery carts where they'd have to get checked out, and they were the absolute, you just see them come in and you're like, wow, no one gets to leave now for like, you know, an extra 20 minutes just because these jackasses come in and like do this.
Dude, I hated those people because the Hannaford I worked at was open until 11, and there were a swarm of people that would come in at 10:45, and it was always just like, oh, we just need that extra bottle of alcohol.
Well, odds and
we
ends
need
stuff. Yeah, whatever.
But like,
But whole carts.
whole carts are a different animal, and
if you're doing a whole cart late at night, you worship Satan.
I think that's foul. I think that's a penalty. That's a penalty. That's a red flag.
There should be an extra tax on that. That if you're making people stay that late, it's like, oh yeah, you gotta.
Dude, I really wish we could charge extra for just bullshit and maybe give discounts for good. Like if you help bag, you get a discount, a little discount.
Yeah,
you know,
if you check your own groceries out as you do nowadays.
Dude, yeah, companies are wild for that.
It's so cool.
And at the same time, they're like, we don't want you to steal.
No, it's fine. You know, it's fine. Everyone will steal. It's all, they don't care. No, they do.
Oh, they care way more. They used to not care.
I've been stopped before checking out, and they're like, "Can I see your receipt?" And I show them, and then they're like, "Okay, go ahead."
Never stopped, man, because they fear the lawsuit. I want to get stopped. I pay for my shit. I want to get stopped.
Yeah, I pay.
I want to have a real encounter over it.
But like last night, I was in Shaw's. Shout out, shitty ass Shaw's.
Why were you in a Shaw's?
Because it's in the neighborhood. You know, it's whatever. It's in the neighborhood, so I go to that one because it's close, and just to get the odds and ends, I get like 2 things there, and so I go to check out. I go at the worst possible time. There is a massive line, and I love the grocery stores now though. They just do not care. They're like, all right, we have 8 registers. It's peak shopping hour. We're gonna have 1 open, and then there's gonna be 6 self checkouts open, and you guys are just gonna sort it out. And I'm just like, this is chaos. This is in total insanity. And what are they doing? Just get rid of those other registers. What are you doing? They're just for show. No one's working at them.
I've yet
Dude,
to
there's
see
bones at the last one. There's just an old lady who died 6 weeks ago. She's just melting away there. You know, she's still got some lady's change in her hand. You know,
I'm curious to see what things look like 10 years from now, because like the future is like you can walk out with stuff and it'll just automatically charge you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just, man, working at a grocery store, I think there are these shitty jobs, like the trifecta of shitty jobs. Like you work a fast food job, or you work at a grocery store, or you work at like a direct service, like you're like cutting hair, styling hair, doing stuff like that.
I don't think that's a shitty job.
It's a tough job when you're dealing with customers and you have to serve customers, because I think every kid needs to go through that. And because it taught me a lot about the type of adult I wanted to become.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my biggest goal after 5 years at Hannaford was at the time, no matter what, I want to make enough money that if I get to the end of like a grocery shopping trip, no matter how much it costs, I'll pay for it. I'm not going to return anything. I'm not going to be that person. Not dissing that person, but that's a terrible feeling.
Heavy
to
diss
have
laid.
to have to that feeling of like, I can't afford it. I have to get rid of it. That's such a feeling to like, and it's awful to witness as a cashier, especially when it's like a family. It's like, oh, you can't afford that thing.
Yeah.
And then I saw good things. Like I saw the type of adult I want to be. I saw people like would see someone like, oh, you have to put that back. And they'll be like, I'll pay for it. I got it. Or how much is left? I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
I saw that. Oh, did you see that a lot? Like I saw that a lot.
No, I worked at Whole Foods, so no.
Yeah. Well,
everyone
can afford it.
At Whole Foods.
But Hannaford, there's a better mix. And I saw that all the time. And I met really cool people. And I met people I'd never want to be like. I was like, I met people who were absolutely just awful human beings. I met a great person in the form of like, she argued at the Supreme Court for same-sex marriage and equality.
Yeah.
And I also at the same time met a 40-year-old man who wanted to fight me at the age of 16 because I wouldn't sell him alcohol.
Oh,
and he's like,
dude.
I'll wait for you outside.
Oh, they love, dude. That was a hilarious thing when the store opened and the policy was card everybody, no matter what. I was like, whatever. I'm like, you know, that's fine, whatever. But these people would get livid. Like a 60-year-old woman getting carded. They're not always like, I feel young again. They're like, I look like shit. You better sell me this bottle of white wine or I'm going to fucking have you fired. Like, that's the kind of lady that's checking out. They are mad and they want to get their cougar juice and they want to get out of there, you know?
Because it's the only thing that makes them feel pretty inside. You know, it's like, it's that one thing you need.
I can't wait to be an old white woman and just get nice and drunk just so I can look at myself in the mirror and pretend I look okay.
And also it's like, I remember in customer service, the worst thing is when you're dealing with someone who's a regular and you're new.
Yeah.
And they have, you know, they worked with Cheryl for like 10 years, right?
Yeah, they did.
And Cheryl knows exactly what I want.
Dude, Cheryl's the shit.
The worst people are lottery people. I worked customer service desk in Hannaford.
Oh, the people that buy lottery
People
tickets?
who buy lottery tickets.
Yeah, guess what, guys? You are not good people.
You are shitty.
You are
dude.
bad people.
Some of them
It's
were
one
cool.
thing to buy one when it's like $1 billion and you're like, I feel a little kooky today.
But when it's your thing and you're
Yeah.
like 60 and you're crotchety,
it's bad.
it is so bad. And they're always very particular and they're all like superstitious luck based. So what I would do is when you accidentally print an extra ticket with the lottery, you can't refund it. Or it was at the time really hard to refund.
Yeah.
So my boss would always say, we'll refund any errors at the end of the night, but in the meantime, try to sell them. And I got to tell you, if you have to sell anything in your life and your life depends on it, it's a lottery ticket that you accidentally pressed, because these motherfuckers will fight over it like fiends. Like, I remember accidentally pressing one, and I was like, oh, my bad, I gave you the Powerball. I'll just save this later and get rid of it. And the guy looked at me, he was like, no. Put that there. Put it there. I'm like, but dude, this is like $20. He's like, no. Put it there. Put it there. It might be my winner. Give it to me. And I swear to God, if I had said $1,000, he would have found a way. They're addicted, man. There was a guy who won big.
Oh, really?
And he won millions of dollars. And he would come
store?
in. No, he won it at a different store.
Okay.
He'd do it at different stores. He came in once every couple of weeks. And you always knew he'd come in because I would be like, fuck. Because the minute I saw his face, I knew I had to go out back, ask the cash people to go unlock the safe, and pull out a $500 book of scratchers, because that's what he did for fun. Every couple of weeks he'd buy a book of scratchers. A book of scratchers is that thick. It's about the size of 2 of your MacBooks put together.
Oh, okay.
And they're freaking long, and he would buy, like, they were $20 each, buy like $500.
Yeah.
And he would just spend the evening just scratching off scratchers for hours.
It's a rough ride down when you're living that life, man.
It is. And then, like, people get so paranoid. It was awful. And they had particular games.
They want? It's like, what do they want to win? Like, what do they want to win?
It's people like him that weirded me out the most.
What are they trying to buy?
You won the million.
Save up your money.
You won your millions, dude.
I know. Once you win big on the lotto, you stop, because it's never happening again.
It is,
unless you're Whitey Bulger, and then you can make it happen a couple of times.
We can happen a few times if you're Whitey. There was this one person who they were like, they were trans, and they would come up in the line, and I remember they were the meanest to me when I first started, and like she would like freaking throw shit. She like threw her keys on the counter. Wow. And she would just be like, oh, I'm going to be here for a minute, because her job was to take this old guy. She was a caretaker for this old guy. Yeah. And she would like make
classic
sure.
Classic job, by the way.
Classic.
Classic job to have.
And she would talk shit about the guy. And she's like, yeah, he takes forever to shop, so I'm just going to be here for a minute. And
I like that this trans lady sounds like Fat Albert. That's cool.
And at one point, I was going to say their name. They're probably dead. But like, they were so difficult with me when I first started. And then I started learning the job a little better, and I learned her order. And I remember the day I became her favorite because she was like, I only work with Susan. I don't know why you're here. You're the only one here. What fucking diversity hires this? What the fuck are you here for? And I was like, you need to fucking chill out or I'm not going to sell you shit. I don't care. You can't deny service. I'm like, we wanted to kick you out here a week ago. And she's like, okay, fuck, give me my lotto. Give me my cigarettes. And I knew her order down to like everything, right? And then one day, the new person took her. I was like, fuck, I'll wait for Mo. Can't handle this. Fucking wait for him. Give me that kid. And I that made me feel good, man. That made me feel good. You can handle difficult people. You learn how to handle shitty, difficult people, no matter who they are, where they come from. You learn.
And that's part of. I've always felt like everybody should have to work in customer service.
I think it's mandatory.
I think you should have to. It's like some people, they fight in the armed services. I think you should also have to fight in the customer services as well, because it's a battle.
It is.
And you learn to deal with people. And then you also, because you've had to be in that battle, you have a little more respect for the people that are having to help you with your bullshit.
We don't have mandatory military service in this country. I think mandatory.
I think mandatory customer service not nearly as dangerous, but helpful.
I think very helpful. And like, I look back at that time and I was like, man, I would hate to repeat it, but it's one of those skills you don't learn in school. You don't learn how to deal with shitty people in school. Like, you learn theories, but you
learn how to get mad at them and then be vindictive.
Be like, you're stupid and here's why.
But you don't get to do it. Like, that's the thing with customer service, is like, you're not allowed to like lose your cool, at least not until 2020. Now you're allowed to lose your cool on customers.
I think
when they're being irrational.
If they touch you, it's a different story. Like, if someone touches you, it's a different story. Like, I've seen a lot of like people, like, if you hit a customer service person, they're gonna knock you out. Like, they have the right to kick your ass, I think. But
I wasn't even thinking there, but it's just like total disrespect. Then they deserve to hear an earful.
That guy who threatened to fight me at 16, my manager went outside with him and was like, I'll fight you. Like, nice. At that point, it becomes a different scenario.
Yeah.
But it's just something you have to learn, because one of the most powerful marketing tools in the world, everyone knows, is word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know who's fucking nuts.
Great Ludacris album.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that. Word of mouth?
Yeah. Well, it's mouth, I think. But yeah.
Mouth.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is a very powerful marketing tool, and sometimes you don't know how crazy someone is, so you don't want that like crazy person to go out and blow you up everywhere, and they tell their friends, and everybody thinks you're a dick. But like, at the same time, I feel like you can't coalesce to every asshole. There's like a fine line. Like, you got to be like, you got to cut it.
No, you can't just let these people walk all over you. You got to give it to them.
You got to give them a little bit.
They deserve to.
Waffle House, dude.
Were you ever the supervisor?
No. That was the most depressing job. I would never do that.
Okay.
I was a supervisor?
I was customer service supervisor at Whole Foods when it first opened in Portland. I was one of the first ones, and it was like, I remember one of my early night shifts working there, I got to finally do the thing that you dream of. There was a guy trying to write one of those starter checks, because this was 2007. People were still paying with check a little bit. Like, maybe an old woman might use one nowadays, and I don't even know if they take checks anymore, to be honest, but like, they used to still take checks at that point. And they have these starter checks where it doesn't even have your name or anything on it. It's literally just like, it says the bank, and then it has the bank account, but no information. And you would just get that when you first open a bank account and you have no other checks. They just give you that like real quick, so you have something to write check. And the guy's like, I don't have my ID, or like, I didn't have this is my check. This is what I have for you. And I'm just like, oh, we can't take that. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't have, it's not a real check. Like maybe this would be good for paying your rent or someone that you know really well, but I don't know who you are. Like, I can't take this. I'm sorry. And he's like, you know what? Well, let me talk to your supervisor. And I got to do I am the supervisor. And that guy was so mad, and I was just like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I can't do it. I'm not
Dude, but
supposed to
these
do it.
customers are a different breed now because people don't stop at like, oh, the supervisor. People are like, I want to speak to the manager. I want to speak to the executive. I want to
speak to Jersey Mike.
I want to speak to, where is Mr. Mike? Where's Mr. Jersey?
Where's New Jersey Michael?
But like they go on like internet, Twitter, everything. I always found like I learned a lot of those skills like young of like just calming people down, talking to them like they're human. And I think there's like a lot of guilt too. Like there's a little bit of guilt like where people feel like when they get really mad, they're all in. They can't give up. They can't give up. So when you're like quiet and you're just listening and you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I get it. And you start just being like you don't elevate, you don't throw gas at the fire. It's crazy how many people like do snap out of it and are like, fuck, I'm sorry. I can't believe I'm acting like a child. Like
I'm throwing a temper tantrum as an adult.
Because very few people are that crazy where they're like legitimately in that and they're like, I'm going to be like this forever. Like most people are like, fuck, I lost control of who I am because I'm inconvenienced or I'm angry. But working at the bank, dude, I remember I worked at a bank for the longest time, and I was right after the grocery store gig, and I was like, I'm going to work with fancy people now. That's what I'm going to do. I'm a fancy banker now. I wear a suit and tie every day to work.
Yeah.
I'm a fancy banker now. I got a car. I had enough money I had a bonus every couple of months. And I will tell you, make me a cashier at Hanford any day of the week because banking sucks, man.
Oh my God.
People are so entitled and so angry because you're messing with their money. You're messing with their money, dude.
A bank is a place that I don't know. Do people go to the bank anymore?
I don't.
In general, no. I don't think many people go.
I did my entire car loan over the phone.
Yeah, I don't think most people will go into the bank. I have to go to the bank for work sometimes, and so I'll go into the bank, and like the experience bank, you can see some shit at a bank. You hear how just people who are at the bank, a lot of them that are in line, pretty dumb.
You wonder how they make money.
Like, a lot of people that are at, because you're like, oh, you know why they're at the bank? Because they don't know how to use the app. Like, they can't figure out the basic ass app that like anybody knows how to do. And they're just like, I guess I'll just drive 10 minutes and talk to a person because I got no other way.
Yeah, my grandparents are like all dead. So like I haven't experienced having to like teach older people how to use technology in my family.
Yeah.
I always learned it in customer service. So I just assumed if like you reach a certain age, you're just bad at technology. And then like through my girlfriend's family and other friends like in their family, I've like learned, I'm like, no, they're just dumb because a lot of old folks have no problem. Like my girlfriend's family, they got some real old grandparents and they're all super tech savvy.
Oh yeah.
They're on top of it.
My parents know it all. Yeah, they know all the tech stuff.
So it's like no excuse. But I remember at the bank, like there would just be people who were like super entitled. There was this one guy who needed money for a boat. And he like was really mad at me because I
need this boat.
I got the deal in my hands. I just need the cash. And I'm like, dude, you only have like this amount of money in your bank account. Like I can't give it to you. And he's like, well, go to this bank account. It was like his parents' account. And I was like, I'm not going to take this money out of your parents. He said, I need to speak to someone because you're ridiculous. My manager, God rest his soul, came up and he was like, what was the problem? Like, how can I help you? And then he looked at the guy and he like took a good look at him. He's like, oh, hey, Daryl. And Daryl looks at my boss. He's like, hey, Dave. And they go to the back office and like...
And he leaves with one of those bags with the dollar signs on it?
No, he has Daryl sit down and David is sitting down on the other side. And there's, back in the day, it was like these glass offices so you could see inside. And I'm like peeking in.
It's still that day. They still have those.
They still have the glass. Yeah, I haven't been in a bank since I worked there.
A big bank has it, yeah.
And they were talking and... They were talking. And then finally Daryl just gets up frustrated, opens the door and just walks out. And Dave comes back out. He smiles at me. He's like, hey, Mo. And I'm thinking, like, when your manager smiles at you and was walking over to you, I'm always like, okay, he's going to give me feedback. He's going to tell me I should have done this. I should have done this differently. He's like, that's Daryl. If he ever comes in and tries to go into his mom and dad's account, you tell him to fuck off. And I'm like, what? And he like was like telling Daryl was talking shit on the way out, And I remember Dave was like, yeah, just have your parents call me, Daryl. Just have Tom call me. Tom can give me a call. And he comes back to me and tells me the whole story about how this guy is, like, his family's super rich. He's a trust fund baby. He gets money sent to him like this. And he's just a giant baby in a pickup truck.
He's a T-fund babe.
And his dad controls everything. And his dad's, like, very specific and talks to Dave all the time. Was like telling Dave, like, don't give him this money, give him that. Da, da, da.
God rest his soul, Dave.
So, yeah, God rest his soul. Yeah, he's a good guy. You ever have a good manager you kept up with? Or?
A good manager. You know, I was thinking about a good one I had the other day. I had a good Whole Foods manager in Southern California, but I don't know whatever happened to that guy. I have no idea. He dropped off Facebook. I live across the country. I'll never see that man again. I'll never hear from him again.
I kept up with Dave because when I was graduating from college, I really wanted to stay at this bank for a long time. Like, they really kind of indoctrinated me. And the only job they could offer me was like an $18 an hour bump. And I was just like, I feel like
$18 an hour bump?
Like
that's a big bump.
No, bump from like 13 to 18 bucks an hour.
Right.
My bad. So
that's a big bump.
Not 18. Yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to look elsewhere because I know I can make at least like 35 grand or something elsewhere. I want to move out from my mom's house. And finally, like, what happened was because they quote unquote wanted to keep me because I think I was a diversity hire there.
They liked it. You were someone they wanted to keep, the Pokemon they needed.
I was what they needed in the collection.
Yeah, you're the final evolution that they were looking for.
So my district manager called me, who liked me. Every time he came in, he always made sure to like say hi to me and like talk to me and like tell me you have to stick around because I was really good at sales. And he called me up during my shift, and my manager was like, yeah, just like take the phone call, come downstairs, just talk to this guy. And he spent the entire time on the phone negging me. And he was just like, oh, you're not going to find a job with a political science degree. That's kind of a useless degree. You should just treat this as an extension of school. Like, work with me, man. Like, couple years, I'll get you to a good place. Like, you just got to trust me, trust in the process. And I like was just like, the more I talked to him, like I was just like, you're trying to make me feel bad. And I haven't even like, I had interviews and stuff, and I've found a job that was going to pay me like 45 grand or 46 grand a year.
Which is a good paycheck for a young kid.
For a 22-year-old kid. Yeah. It was enough for me to move out of my mom's house.
That's a great
salary. And there were many competitive jobs, and I was like, and he was like, you're not going to like that profession. It's going to be shitty. And I remembered, I still look back because I talked to Dave afterwards because he knew what was going to happen in the call. And I was like, yeah, it was a bad phone call. Why'd you make me do that? And he was like, he just asked for it, but fuck him. Just leave. Do what you want.
Follow your heart.
Follow what you think is right. And he was like, I'll find a way to hire you again. If you don't like the job, you want to come back, like, I got you. And I feel like when you treat people right like that, like, I was like, oh, man, I'd stick with you.
The first manager I ever had at Whole Foods was the man.
Yeah.
This guy, Doug. I haven't seen him in forever either, but he was awesome. He had nicknames for everybody. He's one of those guys that always had a nickname for every employee. Were they always appropriate? Were they always known by that employee? Who's to say?
And Black and Mild, get over here.
Yeah, Black and Mild.
BM, get over here. Oh,
no, I remember there was this one lady we worked with, Jackie Chuddy, which is Chuddy doesn't even sound like a real name. Yeah, it sounds like a fake,
like Jackie Chan almost.
A little bit, but not a guy.
Jack Chud.
Or of the Asian persuasion. This was a woman who was probably in her, I'd say, mid-40s. Nice lady, but there was a movie called Chud, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers. It was a really campy B horror movie in the 80s. Not a big smash hit, but it's like, look it up, Chud. It's a really weird name for a movie, Chud.
Chud sounds like a nickname for a penis.
But
like
he'd call her Silly
Big
Chuddy.
Chud. Silly Chuddy.
Silly Chuddy is a pretty good.
That's a good one.
A lot of those. I don't even. Oh, I was Keith Hebrew National.
Hebrew National.
So
you're kosher.
And there was Mike Cassette Tape. That was another one. His name was Mike Cassetta. Shout out Mike Cassetta.
Shout out Mike Cassetta.
Yeah, that was fun. That guy was cool. He was the one who actually kind of like hooked me up and got me the job up here. Because this was the thing. It's like finding a summer job is kind of hard. I've always had a hard time finding a summer job. So I'm an honest guy, and I would be like, yeah, it's just for the summer because I go back to school, you know. And they'd be like, oh, it's just summer. We can't hire you. So then I had to stop being an honest guy and be like, I'm quitting college. I want to be a cashier. So I just be like, yeah, I'm going to take a break.
At Epiphany.
I think cashiering is what's for me. I think I don't want to do college anymore. I know I'm a junior and I'm going into my senior year, but I'm pretty sure cashiering is where I'm headed. Dude, I think that's my calling.
Those jobs always sell you on like, oh, if you're with us, you know, our CEO is a cashier. Well, you know, like you can start there and you can build up.
Dude, I took the pill, dude.
Oh, you did?
Well, so this was the other thing. So I started in Massachusetts, and then I told them, oh yeah, I'm taking time off. Well, and then by the end of the summer, I was like, I had found out they were going to open a Portland store. So I was like, you know what? I'm thinking of going back to college. And I was like, maybe when that Portland store opens, I can get it. I can go work there. And he was like, yeah. He's like, and then anytime you're home for vacation, we'd love to have you just do a couple shifts if you ever want to just do a shift or whatever. Because they liked me over there. So I'd do work, you know, a couple shifts here and there when I was home, make a little money, whatever. That was cool. And then when the Portland store opened, I kind of had an in. I was like, I've already worked for Whole Foods. This is where I live now. Boom, boom. Easy transition. So I really haven't had many bosses that I was like, this person sucks. Like they've all mostly been pretty cool people. Every boss I've had, I feel like has been like fairly, except for like CVS. But like, I mean, come on, like that was like my first job. I'm in high school. No one, you know, but like otherwise, every boss I've had, I feel like it's been pretty cool. I mean, the assistant manager is always the one that sucks, in my opinion.
Dude, you know what's funny? I got really lucky with most of my bosses, except for my first boss ever. I worked at a community garden. And that guy was a dick. Guy took it real personal when I quit too, because I was helping him out with a nonprofit thing, and he was such a pain in the ass. I literally, Courtney and I were out. It was like it was a new relationship, like 3-4 months in, and we were out at Jewel Box. Shout out Jewel Box, loved me Jewel Box, and
Jewel Box.
We were just chilling, and who comes in? Except for a guy that I knew named Daniel. He's a local artist, very talented. He's a part of the Indigo Project, Indigo Group here in Portland. They care a lot about high black art. It's really cool stuff that they have there.
High black art.
And he comes up to me. He's like, "You're dating Mo?" And he comes up to my girlfriend.
No,
like,
I thought you were saying
you're dating Mo? And he's like, I have a photo of Mo when he was 15 years old. He was in the fields working. He's a black man, and he looks at he's like, Mo, you got fucked over when you were a kid, because that was how bad my employment was. Another adult was worried about me and didn't say anything though. Wow. And he was like, you got fucked over, Mo.
Oh, poor Mo, poor young Mo.
Mo would be like a white shirt, working the fields at this community garden. At just horrible conditions. It was super hot. We worked for like 4 or 5 hours. I was barely paid. I had to fight for my paycheck to get paid. It was so crazy. And I literally I took my uncle with me, because my uncle's crazy. I took my uncle with me to go get my paycheck from the guy's house. The guy refused to mail the check to me. I physically went to his house to go get it. Wow. And I went with my uncle. And they still like ripped me off by like $100. They fired me, and then like it was all bullshit. It was so bad, but that was the worst. It never was that bad After when I started working for white people, my life turned around quite.
We're not so bad. You know? We're not so bad.
I was like, oh my God, you're putting money away for taxes? I never knew this was a thing.
We're not all that bad.
Healthcare?
We can be okay.
I'm kidding. And Daniel had no involvement in that. He was just an artist that worked around them. I think he probably got ripped off by them, but those guys are awful. I never would work for them.
Yeah. Well, that's why you gotta. You've been at your current job for a while, right?
It's the longest job I've ever been employed in. Yeah, it's been a long time.
I think. Well, that's the thing. When you find somewhere that you dig, you want to stay there.
Yeah, I stay where I'm at mostly because like I work with like decent people.
Yeah, the people
make it.
keep you at a place too.
Like my current boss is cool. Like I like him a lot, but I will say,
yeah, I like the owner of the place I work too.
It's rare to see people my age group stick with a job as long as I have. Like me and Courtney were talking about. It's like really weird because most folks my age, because that's how you build wealth. You jump to other jobs, you make more money elsewhere. But like, I don't know. Like that job where I work right now, they do a really good job of like, when you get a promotion, you get paid well. Like you get paid well for doing better and like going on to something else.
As it should be.
Yeah.
As it should be.
You don't get ripped off. Like you don't have to feel forced to go somewhere else and come back.
That's good.
To make more money. It's like that's how they're in business. But in business, I feel like you gotta treat business with a long-term mentality. Like that relationship. Like how do I keep someone around for a long time so they can grow, make money for me? And I do keep them around. I do upskill them because you see so many places and they don't invest in their people, and then they're like, why doesn't anyone work for us, or why is it we got shitty people?
Why do they all leave me?
You get what you put out in the universe, right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I put out farts.
Yeah, I put out bitches.
Speaking of little bitches, guess what?
What, are you talking about my dog?
I am now officially Taylor Swift's #1 fan.
You watched the movie?
I didn't watch the movie, but I'm going to go see it.
How are you her #1 fan?
Well, because I was like, you know what? We talked about Taylor Swift a lot last podcast.
Episode.
I need to actually see what's going on over here. And I listened to a few songs, and let me tell you, really good. Some really good songs. You ever listen to those songs?
I was Romeo.
I don't know. What's that one?
Romeo, that's one of her biggest songs. Like
I like the song called Bejeweled.
Bejeweled.
Yeah, you got to check. Bejeweled is a banger. That's a banger, dude. That's a great one.
Shake it up.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. What are you shaking off, Taylor?
I mean, probably just any stupid idiot guys that are bothering her. Factual facts. No, Mo, let's go. I think, you know what we need to do? We need to go out for a nice dinner. I take you out to Jersey Mike's. You know, I can show you what's going on over there. What kind of fuckery's happening over at Jersey Mike's.
Dude, I know some French. I'll get through it. I'll get through the discussion.
All right, we'll get over there. We'll figure that shit out, and then I'll go take you to a nice night out at Taylor Swift. We'll go see the Eras tour, and I'll bring a little cheat sheet for the lyrics so we can look at the lyrics and we can sing along with all the tweens and teens in the audience.
I gotta tell you, the list of things that I would rather do than go to that Taylor Swift concert.
Pretty limited, right? Pretty low.
Includes genocide, honestly.
That's not true. Don't even say it.
It includes, I would, my God.
Just take a little taste, Taylor. Just get
I
a
would
little
take
taste.
torture.
Just do a little toot. Just do a little toot of old Taylor. You're going to love her.
A little toot of Taylor. I couldn't.
I mean, I got to say, do you know anything about recording music?
No, I'm not musically gifted at all.
So a lot of singers will sing multiple tracks to make their voice sound bigger on an album. Like they'll sing the same exact part like twice because it makes it sound thicker. And like if I point it out to you, I'll like sometime I'll show you what I'm talking about. But it's like it really sounds thicker, and it's kind of like,
I never knew that actually.
Most people have no idea that that's what happens, but it's like, or in some cases it'll be like they'll do a harmony where it'll be like another note that they sing at the exact same time. So it creates almost like it sounds huge. They start building this up, and it's like you do these big chords, and it'll just create these really big, crazy sounds. Like it makes your voice sound amazing. And so,
Can you sing? Are you like? Are you
not,
just,
no, not
'cause you play
really.
guitar. You're a real musician.
I
Like,
did sing in a band once, but I never felt like I was very good. And I just, to play guitar and sing at the same time is really hard to do. And anyone that can do it well is like insanely talented. But like I can sing a little bit. Like I could sing karaoke pretty well. Like it all depends on the range. Like it's just I don't have a very wide vocal range, but if I find a song that has the right range, I could do it. But my point is, what I'm getting at is with Taylor Swift is like, I was listening to some of these songs and I'm just like, she's not doing the doubling thing here. Like I can hear it's really just one vocal track. Like she actually just sounds that amazing. Like in just one track. And I was like, okay, this, because I kind of discount pop. When I hear pop, like if I hear some pop, I'm just like, oh, it's just like, pop is pop. Like there's a lot to it that just repeats. It's all, you kind of get what you get with it. You're never really going to hear anything too different. But I was listening to him and just like, wow, I was like, she actually like, I don't know that. I should do more research as being the number one Taylor Swift fan now.
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed number one.
Room, yeah.
In this room, I'm in the number one for sure. But it's like I'm pretty sure she probably. I think she writes the lyrics. She writes the lyrics. I don't know if she writes all the music, but I think she writes the lyrics. And what I'm getting at is to me that shows talent. If you're writing your own lyrics, you're writing your melodies. And then the fact that she can sing really well, and she
How
clearly
old is she?
I think she's like 33, 34.
Really? I think she has to be older because I remember listening
has
to her
that
music
album
in middle school.
Called 1989, which is the year she was born. That's the only reason I know that.
Oh,
Because
okay.
that was like a big album.
Because I remember like
was everywhere.
maybe middle school or even like we used to work out. I used to work out. Can you believe that? And
you could probably kick my ass.
Nah, me and my buddy would jump rope to Taylor Swift. Like me, shout out Mike O'Neill, but I remember me and him were, you were Romeo, and we would just like jump rope. And I always thought she was really talented. I still think she's really talented. She's just not the whole experience of, I would, even if you told me like my favorite musical artist probably is going to be Andre 3000, right, out of Outkast. I think he's just one of the most talented people. Him, Frank Ocean, like Chance the Rapper. They're like my favorite group of people. And if you told me, oh, Mo, let's go to the movie theater, freaking Andre 3000 has original music and he's doing a whole thing, I wouldn't go to that. Because like for me, like I first off, I think going to concerts suck. Like I think it's an experience that you can enjoy if you really like a band or what they're doing. But like it's not something that I like to do for the music. I like to listen, headphones on, and I'm doing something else. I'm driving or thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Music is not something for me where I go to like a live show and hear it in the worst audio quality. And I'm sure the audio quality of a movie is like...
Oh, see, well, this is, I think, maybe the difference between...
You're a real musician, so your opinion's better, but...
No, I've only seen a little bit of like hip hop live, and it was like fine. Like I remember being like, that was kind of cool, but like there's something different. I think, I don't know. I have to go to more hip hop shows, I think, to really know, because I've seen like small local hip hop stuff, and I've seen like Public Enemy in an arena, or like in a stadium, I should say. So
that's cool.
But I just remember that being like, oh, that's like, that was cool. Like that was cool. But it was during the day, and like, I don't know what kind of, well, that's the thing with metal. There's like flames and shit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Flames, and there's people jumping around. There's like crazy videos sometimes. There's laser beams, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And like that's cool in its own right. But I don't know what kind of stuff they do at a hip hop show like that.
Well, my point is more, I would want to go, maybe I would want to go to that live concert. I certainly would not want to go to a movie theater and watch it. That wouldn't draw me in. That's really where I'm going, because it's like, I went to the Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia show that they had for their new joint album called "Scaring the Hose," and that was really sick because they had different monitors up. They had set themselves up to like fighting game music too when they came in. Danny Brown did some original stuff. They did their own. It was cool to see Danny Brown because I love Danny Brown. I'm now a fan of JPEG Mafia. I really like his alternative sound and what he does. And I felt like he was the best live performer I've seen in a long time. But I would do 1,000 other things before watching that on a TV screen or a theater screen. I just wouldn't. That's just such a weird, because like when you go to a concert, like I remember I saw Chance the Rapper before Coloring Book came out. His first EP was 10 Days, and then he had a classic EP called Juice, and then he released Coloring Book, which was
Juice?
the biggest thing. Juice.
Okay.
Coloring Book, which was huge, and I got to hear one song called Angels before it came out. He did his encore, and he was like, "Hey, I'm working on this new song." It was at Colby College. "I'm working on this new song. It's called Angels. You guys want to hear it?" I'm like, fuck
no,
yeah.
Boo. Like, I love when artists do that. This one's new and you want to hear it?
Yes, of course.
Not really. We'd rather hear the old stuff, but if you feel like you need to express yourself.
It was like the third encore or whatever, and he like was like, you know what, I'll do this. And I think he planned it anyway, but it was such a cool song. And then I got to hear it in the album a year later.
No,
That's a great feeling.
I've had that experience before. It's cool. I want a band that nobody probably knows, but they're called Between the Buried and Me, and they had, like, I think they had 3 albums come out, and I was a big fan of the third one, and I saw them for the first time on that tour, and then I saw them a year or two later, and they had just recorded a new album, but it wasn't out yet, and they didn't have singles out or anything like that. You didn't know anything from the album. So just without any preparation, they just played like 4 or 5 songs that I'd never heard before off this new album. And I was like, these songs are incredible. And then like the album came out and I was just like, those are the songs. Like, that's so crazy. They sound amazing. Like,
it's a phenomenal feeling.
I can tell you this as a musician, when you play your songs with your band or your group or whatever, like, it sounds awesome. It's fun. You're having a good time playing with your band in your jam room or at a show or whatever. But then when you finally get to go in the studio and you get to record those songs and everything's balanced perfectly and mixed all like exactly how you want it to sound, and everything's tracked a certain way and you've done all that work and you get to hear it for the first time in that way, it's like the craziest. It's the coolest experience. I can't.
So you have albums?
I have a couple albums.
That's sick.
Yeah.
How much is that experience to like do a master recording? Because I've known comics have done that. It's like expensive, like for them to record the room and everything, and like
I've done. The first thing I ever recorded was free, and it sounded like crap. The second thing I ever recorded was $500, and that sounded better, but still not great. But then the next thing I recorded was a few thousand, and that sounded really good.
Mm.
And the next one after that was like, I think we paid probably like $4,000 or $5,000 to do 6 or 7 songs.
Yeah.
And that was by far the best sounding one of any of them because we had way more time. We practiced the songs even more. You know, we had everything all dialed in. Just a lot more effort went into it, and more of that like doubling stuff. Like when you play your guitar, it sounds good, but then when you play it again at the same time as your other guitar track and you make it sound a little different, it sounds even bigger and sounds like even more cool. I
actually genuinely did learn something new because I didn't know about that, like that they layered
and you'll
tracks
hear it,
like that.
I'll after we're done after the pod's over, I'll show you. Even there's that they do that in every music, hip hop. I'll show you like on.
I'm gonna listen for it now because that
You'll
does
hear
seem
it.
weird.
You'll hear the sound. You're like, oh, that does sound different than just one voice. But yeah, this has been a pretty good Mo Keith time. What do you think?
I think it's a good Mo Keith time. I think we should definitely be in a grocery store. I don't think we talked about where we're at, but
Well, I'm sure if you're seeing this, you will have enjoyed the grocery store that we've been in this whole time. So until then, we'll see you on the next episode.
I love you.